Just this week in science class, we had this major passing out of materials. I had this huge pile of folders and packets and random papers that earlier I was just unable to pass out to everybody because of, testing schedule, interruptions, all those things. You know how that goes. So when I had everything all passed out, which was a major to-do in and of itself, I asked the students to organize their papers and ultimately take out the packet that we were going to work on for the rest of class. Well, I got flooded with students coming up to me and saying, I can't find my packet. I can't find my packet. I don't know where my packet is. And in a sense of frustration and panic, I just decided to take the one copy that I had left, and I went over to the copier, which conveniently is like right next to my room, and I started making copies for everyone. Well, guess what? Once we were nearly through the lesson, 5 out of the 6 kids who asked for an additional copy of this packet found their packet. Where did they find it? Well, they found it right in their pile. They found it inside their folder. They found it on someone else's desk because it had been passed out to the wrong desk. And some of them fessed up to it and others didn't. You could tell, I could see from across the room that they were sheepishly, getting their packet and putting it back into their folder. And all I could think of was, why did I do that? Why did I go ahead and make all these extra copies? What a waste of paper, and what a waste of a moment for them to show responsibility. Let's dig into that a little bit today. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. So you've been hearing about the Classroom Reset for a while maybe, but you're wondering, okay, what exactly is inside the Classroom Reset? So let me take a moment to show you exactly what you get inside the Classroom Reset. First, we start with you, because resetting your classroom starts with resetting your mindset. And just like everything else at the Inspired Classroom, we want this to be teacher-centered. And then we're going to move into some really great proactive behavior strategies. We're going to look at creative engagement tools, simple, I said, SEL integration, and classroom culture shifts that actually stick. This is no fluff around here and no stress. Instead, you're going to get done-for-you templates. We're going to give you strategies that will work for your classroom, your students, your content, your teaching style. You're going to have access to a private teacher community, a lot of bonus trainings on all the things that you really need inside your classroom, monthly teacher check-ins, and here's probably the best part, personalized support. That means you can ask me questions anytime, and I will give you direct answers that go with what your personalized needs are inside your classroom. This isn't just theory. I'm not sitting with a bunch of people around a conference table trying to figure out what the best sequence of a curriculum is going to be. I'm in the classroom right now too. I know what works and what doesn't. I speak with teachers all the time, and I've been doing this for over 27 years now. Over 20 of those years specifically working with other teachers in workshops and courses and retreats. So what I've done is I've brought the best of what I've taught over the last 20 years with specifically teachers and created a reset framework that will work in your classroom. This is practical, it's classroom tested, and it's from someone who's still teaching in the classroom myself. If you're serious about making a shift, I want you to go look at what's inside. Go to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset because you deserve a framework and the support that actually helps you. Have you ever tried carrying every single grocery bag into the house in one trip? Because apparently this used to be one of my personal challenges that I created for myself. There have been so many times when I'll come home from the grocery store, open the back of my car, and immediately start strategizing. Okay, this bag can go up on my shoulder, these can loop around my arms, I can balance these with my fingertips, I can use my foot to close the door or just barely reach up to hit the button to close the hatch. And somehow I convinced myself that making 2 trips would be ridiculous when I can just do this all in one trip. And honestly, there's this little weird sense of pride when I can wobble my way to the house carrying 8 to 10 grocery bags all at once. But then when I get to the door, well, that's the hard part. Opening the door, because now I'm standing there with bags, cutting off my circulation, trying to twist the doorknob with one finger while praying that nothing falls. And a few weeks ago, right in the middle of this ridiculous balancing act, I had this thought. I thought, why am I making this so hard for myself? And honestly, I realized that teaching can be the exact same way. Because if you've noticed, if you look back at how you maybe are working with some of your students and doing things inside your classroom, you may realize that you're carrying a lot. And maybe you're carrying everything, not just the lessons and the planning and the grading, but also the reminders, the responsibilities, the organization, the emotional regulation, the follow-through, the motivation. And when students don't do something, we often have this tendency to step in and just figure it out. You know what I mean, right? A student says, I don't have my paper, so we print another. Just like what I was super guilty of earlier this week. A student says, I didn't know what to do, after they were obviously not listening. And even though the directions are on the board, or they could just ask a friend, we repeat ourselves. A student forgets something or misses something or doesn't put in the effort. And because we care, we kind of fill in all the gaps. Because, well, we want the lesson to work. We want the students to succeed. We don't want anyone to be left behind. But eventually, if we keep doing these things, we become the ones that hold the entire classroom together. And I don't know about you, but that can be exhausting. But the even bigger issue is that the more we do for our students, the more we are there to support them with these little things, well, the more of a disservice we're doing for them and actually for us too. Because how we lead our classrooms naturally trains students into the patterns that they're going to continue with. And without realizing it, you can end up creating a classroom where you're doing most of the job, most of the lifting. And I feel like in some way, we're all a little guilty of this, right? And this connects so deeply to what I talk about in the last episode, because that low student effort, that's a symptom. It's not the actual root issue. And when we spend all day reacting and rescuing and reminding and over-functioning, we stay stuck in behavior mode. We stay tired and frustrated. We start to get burnt out, and students never fully build ownership. And this is where that tripod we've been talking about really matters. The tripod, remember those 3 legs: connection, regulation, and engagement. Because when those 3 things are strong, students are way more willing to participate and take risks and stay engaged and take responsibility and contribute to the classroom. But when the classroom foundation feels a little shaky, teachers start compensating for everything. And eventually, that compensation can start turning into burnout. And we do not want that. So what do we actually do about this? Well, first and foremost, just taking this time right now to reflect is so beneficial to you and for me as well, because we can get stuck in these moments of just trying to do and fix and be everything and everyone. So taking this moment to actually ponder where we may be doing this in our classroom, that is absolutely the first step. So yay, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me. And then we have to start thinking, how can we stop fixing everything all at once? Because honestly, that's just another way of carrying too much. And you can start thinking small at first, right? For example, pause before you do a rescue or a reprint or a copy, 6 different packets because your students say they can't find something, and think about how you want to approach the situation. So when a student says, I can't find it, you can give yourself the opportunity to think, all right, let's make sure this kid is really thinking things through. Now, this thing just happened to me yesterday. Okay, so we were doing our MCAS testing, and a student couldn't find her Chromebook, and all the other kids had their Chromebooks, and we were just about to start. I had actually opened up the booklet so I could read the directions to the test, and then I looked over, and there was this girl who had no Chromebook and wasn't speaking up about it. So I went over to her and I asked her, Susie Q, where is your Chromebook? And she just looked at me and she goes, I don't know. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, did you look in your desk? Did you look in the Chrome cart? Did you look in all these places? And she said, yeah, I did. I said, okay, so just go down to the office and see if you can get another loaner. Yes, I said another loaner because she already had a loaner and that's the one that she couldn't find. Well, she went downstairs, she got her Chromebook, a loaner, and brought it back up, started the test, and then later in the day, she was looking through her desk, and guess what she found? Oh my gosh. She found her original Chromebook. Can you feel my frustration? It is so frustrating, and yes, I'm going to say it, annoying, because what I felt for myself was, are you kidding me? Like, I should have insisted on her looking again instead of going down to the office and creating all of this extra work for the people downstairs to get her yet another loaner Chromebook. It's almost like when you're in these moments of immediate need, you just act on it, right? So for example, with the papers, we needed to work on that packet. So immediate need, I'll just take care of it. The Chromebook situation, we're about to start our testing for the day. Just go get another one. And sometimes, obviously, that's the solution. But wouldn't it be nice if we had that moment and instead of immediately solving it for the kids, ask them some questions or have them pause and give ourselves the permission to pause, and maybe we can find this together if we just look a little harder. I mean, come on, if I had even 5 cents for every time a kid said, I can't find something or I don't have a pencil, and then if I just give them an extra couple of minutes, they find it, right? Another thing that you can do is to build in some routines that hand over more responsibilities for your students. So instead of repeating directions 5 times or solving every missing material issue or chasing after every assignment, ask yourself, and of course, I'm saying this to myself too, what systems could help students to hold more of this responsibility themselves? Is there a better way to organize a workstation or a materials spot for your students? Is there a procedure that you can follow if they lose a paper or break a pencil? And chances are you do have some of these systems already established in your classroom, so maybe they need a little tightening up. That's what I'm thinking for myself. A little tightening up, a little bit of a reminder about these systems and routines that you've already put in place to hand that responsibility right back over to the kids. This is the kind of thing that actually helps to build the culture in your classroom that you may be striving for, one that focuses on responsibility. So I'm curious, what's one thing you might be able to do to start shifting things for yourself and for your students? We can all use a little tune-up here and there, no matter what season in the school year it is, or even if you're catching this in the middle of the summer. The goal isn't to become a teacher who can do everything, right, and fix everything. Maybe the goal is to create a classroom where students learn to carry more of the responsibility. And when that starts to happen, well, teaching can feel so much more enjoyable. And if this episode hit home for you, I really want to encourage you to go listen to the last episode. It's number 135, Student Effort is Low, and it's Burning Teachers Out. Because in that episode, I walk you through some of the deeper patterns behind all of this. We go over 2 mistakes that keep teachers stuck and what actually helps to shift the classroom culture into a lasting way forward. And if you want a place to share some stories and ideas like this, come join me over inside our Creative Teachers community. You can get online with us and share stories and chat about things and ask questions. You can go to theinspiredclassroom.com/community. I can't wait to see you over there, and maybe you can share a couple stories so I don't feel so bad about making all those extra copies and sending that girl to the office for yet another Learner Chromebook. All right, I'll see you next time. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.